every good investment, in my opinion, if you're going to put a lot of money at work, the the winning formula for the past 10 years or 15 years has been find a digital dominant network that's dematerialized some fundamental thing. The mobile network is Apple, the information network at Google, the video network, YouTube, the social network, Facebook, even Twitter, speech network, dematerialized, and Amazon, the retail network. You buy them when they're $100 billion market cap. When something hits $100 billion, and when they're 10 times bigger than the next biggest thing, and they're $100 billion, they're probably going to crush everything. And at that point, I remember lecturing Wall Street guys in 2011, 2012 about Apple. And here's what they said: they said, "Well, we know you love Apple, and you think it's going to beat the world." But our idea is if Apple goes up too high, we're going to sell the stock and we're going to buy HP and Dell so we can diversify your computer portfolio. And then if all your tech names, if Apple and Amazon and Facebook go up too much, we're going to sell those so you don't get too much in technology. The number one knock on Bitcoin for the outsider is, well, it's just software. Someone else can copy it. And I think Bitcoiners, they don't do themselves justice here. I mean, sometimes I think the exchanges and some of the others, they over promote the fact that there's 237 different crypto pairs you can trade, right? And I've done that. It's like that. It's that long tail where all of a sudden there's one thing, and I want to have a list of 47 things, but what's an epiphany? The epiphany is when you're a young CEO and you're like, I'm going to put a salesperson in every single state in America. There's 50 states, 50 salespeople. There's an epiphany when you go to New York City and you realize that half of all the money in the country is in one city. And then you realize that maybe you're being captured by orthodoxy. So in this entire crypto area, it's great to have all the innovation, and it's good to experiment with this and that and DeFi, and maybe that'll work, and maybe that'll work, and maybe that'll work. But to the outsider, you look at it and you're like, well, what if everybody moves their money off of Bitcoin to Ether or to whatever, or to Yo-Yo Coin, and they stop, and then someone puts this language, 8 pages of language in front of you. What happens if there's a hard fork or a soft fork? You know how debilitating, anxiety-inducing that would be to deliver 8 pages of legal disclaimers on hard fork, soft fork risk. Like, you mean like my crypto can float away? And they get all anxiety-ridden. So you got to get beyond that. Okay, and it's easy to get beyond that. The easy way to get beyond it is to say, look, this is a proof of work crypto network designed to be a store of value. And the only thing we're going to do is maintain a constant store of value as a digital gold. And we're going to expend huge amounts of energy to protect that network and upgrade that network. And you can take your $500 million out of the bank and put it on our network. And everybody in the community is going to spend every iota of their energy to make sure no one F's with that network. Okay. And here's the thing that really just kicks you over the edge, though. It's just when you go to real Bitcoin dominance and you look at Bitcoin and then Bitcoin Cash and then the next one, you realize, okay, Bitcoin is 92% of everything. And the next competitor is 2%. And then the next competitor is 1.5%. Okay. The number one knock on Bitcoin is, well, maybe it's the MySpace, the Facebook. It's like, absolutely not. If you know anything about MySpace, you realize that MySpace was never worth more than $1 billion. Okay, MySpace was 200 times smaller than Bitcoin is right now. It was never that case, right? There's never an example of $100 billion monster digital network that was vanquished once it got to that dominant position. So all you got to do is see that chart, and then you think about the dynamic and the network effect, and you're like, this is already won, right? It's won. It's been tested, and by the way, the hard forks I think are a big advantage. the fact that Bitcoin went through it, and we saw what happened, and we saw that the community would defend Bitcoin, that's what gives a person like me confidence to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin. I don't want to hear that you've got a new idea and you're upset over transaction fees and you would like to implement smart contracts, so you got to change everything. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that you're going to defend the network to the death against someone that's going to break it or compromise it in any way, shape, or form. It's in thousands or tens of thousands or 100,000 plus small transactions, day and night, minute by minute, over the course of many days. So it's not like we're going in. I'll sit and I'll watch this happening, and I've got a great team, a great team that I've worked with, and some excellent professionals. They are brilliant geniuses at what they do, but let me tell you, they've got great technology too, right? It's like, and you got to have the right technology, you got to have the right team, and then you have to be very patient, like very patient. I'll watch people walk in on Monday morning, and it's like, okay, some dude just got up at 9 a.m. and decided to buy some Bitcoin, and the price spikes. Whenever I see that, I'm like, well, that guy won't be in the market very long, because no one that really wanted to buy a lot of Bitcoin would be so silly as to spike the price so hard. I can tell you this, which is, we bought $425 million worth of it, and we never ran the price. Not a dollar. Like, you don't know.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, right? It's pretty impressive.
If I'm in the market, you wouldn't know that I'm trading against you ever, because that's not how you get stuff done, right? Let the market come to you. So the good news is, if you want to buy hundreds of millions or sell hundreds of millions, you can do it and not be seen, and you can do it without moving the market materially or panicking anybody. But you have to have the right team, the right tools, and the right discipline. You can't be in a hurry. I think that people were kind of oblivious to the need / the role of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin narrative of digital gold. Right, this is the ultimate inflation hedge. This is if it's not 10x better than gold, it's 100x. Maybe it's 1,000x better than gold. We could go on for hours. I could tell you why I think it's 1,000x better than gold. But let's just assume, since we're preaching to the choir, that it's 1,000x better than gold. Once you realize that it's 1,000x better than gold, from that point, it's minimum 12 weeks if you went like a bat out of hell, and probably 6 months. And I kind of feel that if people were waiting to see if this was possible, well, they kind of saw our announcement August. So the 6-month clock starts in August.